Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. Hearthstone's Descent of Dragons expansion was revealed at BlizzCon, and it's finally going to make Year of the Dragon. I'm actually now a little bit worried that we're going to get too much of the good thing, and the good thing being dragons, of course. Because right now it looks like every single class will have a dragon deck in Descent of Dragons. Perhaps even multiple ones. While we only have around 1/3 of the cards at the moment, the developers were saying that there is going to be dragon cards for every class, there will be a dragon breath card for every class, which is a dragon synergy card, there's going to be at least one dragon for every class, there are going to be some neutral dragons, here are the ones that have been announced so far, and that they're trying to push a little bit of different directions for dragon decks for various classes. So I figured I would already take this opportunity to take a look at the early dragons that have been revealed, how good are they, and what direction are they pushing various classes into. First of all, we have two neutral dragons coming. The Evasive Draconid, a 7-mana 7/7 dragon with taunt and can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. Seems a fairly fair card. Powerful but fair, and that's just the type of card that may or may not see play, it really depends. But one thing about getting tons of dragons is that that may also make Dragon Highlander decks viable. And for Dragon Highlander decks, the criteria to be included in a deck might be a little bit lower than for regular ones, so Evasive Draconid could definitely see play. And the other neutral dragon that has been announced is Twin Tyrant, 8-mana 4/10, battlecry deal 4 damage to 2 random enemy minions. This seems a little bit weaker already. 8 mana, you kind of need to have really good stuff coming on at 8. But it's also meta dependent, because that 4 damage to 2 minions, in the right meta, that's awesome. It has an immediate effect when it's played, but in the wrong meta, that damage is just going to go to waste. But what about the classes themselves? Druid has had a bunch of dragons revealed already. We have the Druid Dragon Breath, we have the Druid Legendary Dragon, and there's also a Druid Common Dragon. And all of this stuff is really, really strong. Emerald Explorer, 6-mana 4/8 taunt. Okay, so decent minion with battlecry to discover a dragon. A decent minion that replenishes itself. Okay, now we're talking. That's a great card. Ysera Unleashed, 9-mana 4/12, battlecry, shuffle 7 dream portals into your deck. When drawn, summon a random dragon. Well, a random dragon can be a fairy dragon, or it can be a Deathwing. So there's quite a lot of variance in what happens with those. But when you give this sort of card, and there's 7 of those portals, and you give this sort of card to a class that is able to draw a lot of cards, which means that you can play Ysera, and then you can draw multiple cards so you can get a bunch of dragons on the board at once. Then that means that Ysera actually can generate pretty big tempo swings in the near future after it's played. So it seems pretty powerful in that sense. And then the True Nuts, the Breath of Dreams, 2 mana, draw a card. If you're holding a dragon, gain an empty mana crystal. We had Wild Growth nerfed from 2 to 3 because it gave you an empty mana crystal. This also lets you draw a card. Okay, you have to hold a dragon, but with all the dragons that are coming, there are so many dragons, you can build extremely consistent dragon decks, then you can ramp up, and then you can get to your power plays. So they're really beefing up this dragon druid concept. Ramp, then those plays, dragons, value, strong boards, boom, phase. The only real question is it going to be better than Quest Druid? Because Quest Druid is already doing much of the same thing. It doesn't really do the ramp up part, but once the quest is completed, the mana that it has available, it's already going to get so many powerful plays with that. It doesn't necessarily have to have like 10 mana crystals to do stuff. But overall I would expect that they have tested that this is actually going to be good, because they want this expansion clearly to be fairly powerful. Then there's Rogue, and we also have a Rogue Dragon, and we have a Rogue Dragon Breath. Candle Breath, 6 mana, draw 3 cards, cost 3 less while you're holding a dragon. 3 mana, draw 3. That is really, really good. And then there is Waxadred, 5 mana, 7/5, okay, great stats. Shuffle a candle into your deck that resummons Waxedred when drawn as a death rattle. So yet another of these infinite type of minions for Rogue. Vulnerable to silence, vulnerable to polymorph of course. Doesn't have rush or charge or taunt, so when it comes back it just stands there for a while. But still, not a bad card, and Candle Breath is awesome. However, dragons typically are fairly expensive, and Rogue is all about doing tricks with cheap cards. And given how strong those tricks with cheap cards and Galagrund, the Rogue version of Galagrund, is, then it looks like Rogue might rather go for a more tempo-oriented line without Galagrund or with Galagrund than going for these dragons, even though they do offer another option. Then there is Shaman, and for Shaman we only have the breath so far, and it's Lightning Breath. 3 mana, deal 4 damage to a minion. If you're holding a dragon, also damage its neighbors. So 3 mana for 4 damage to 3 minions. Alright. Maybe this hints at something of a more control style, because dragons are pretty decent typically as a control deck tools, win condition tools. They've just fallen off a little bit with all the power that's available otherwise, but that might still be an option. And again we have to ask, okay, but what about that relationship with Quest Shaman? When this expansion comes, Quest Shaman is going to lose Evolve, so that big swing is going to be gone. But Quest Shaman was a good deck already before Evolve, so how about that control style? Can you combine the two? Dragons have a lot of battle cries. Maybe there's something to it. It's just that dragons are typically fairly expensive, and when you play Quest Shaman you want to have a lot of cheap battle cries. So that's a little bit of a contradiction. Then there is Mage, and we have a dragon, and we have the legendary dragon for Mage revealed. Azure Explorer, 4 mana, spell damage +2, discover a dragon as a battle cry, 2/3. Alright. Spell damage is always nice, discovering dragons is nice. 4 mana makes it a little bit expensive to play in any kind of tempo mage deck or such. It's a little bit more targeted towards slower archetypes, where you use that spell damage together with some kind of board clear spell or something. And then there is Malygos, Aspect of Magic. 5 mana 2/8 dragon with battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, discover an upgraded mage spell. There are a total of 9 upgraded spells available from Malygos. Most of them have double the effect, some of them have lower cost. You can have like 1 mana Polymorph or 7 mana Flame Strike that deals 8 damage to enemy minions. So quite a lot of flexibility over there. Board clears, polymorphs, direct damage. But the cost of these cards maybe doesn't really support tempo style, so slower burn style. Maybe you could even build like a Dragon Highlander deck. You already have Galagos to put into such a deck, and then you have these, and you should be able to have enough dragons to reliably activate Malygos when you need it. It's the last expansion of the year, and Highlander decks should be very, very strong. As for Priest, we only have the Fate Weaver revealed. We haven't seen the Legendary Dragon yet, we haven't seen the Breath yet. Fate Weaver, 4 mana 3/6. Epic Battlecry, if you've invoked twice, reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1. So Fate Weaver obviously goes into Galagrund decks. It could go very well into combo decks. Maybe Priest Dragon deck is a Galagrund deck. Galagrund overall for Priest seemed a little bit weaker than the other Galagrunds that have been revealed, but maybe the whole package comes together when there are dragons involved. Warrior Dragon deck looks like a control deck. Molten Breath, 4 mana, deal 5 damage to a minion. If you're holding a dragon, gain 5 armor. It only goes to a minion, it doesn't go face. And Deathwing Mad Aspect, 8 mana, 12/12. Battlecry, attack all other minions. So it also kills off your own board. So you're not really using this in a lot of these mid-range style decks. Maybe you can use it in some deck like that to regain the board, but then it's unplayable if you're in control of the board. So that's a little awkward. So it's more suited for Control Warrior. Yeah, interesting Control Warrior tools. And especially considering that, okay, Control Warrior now has so many board clears with Brawls and Plague of Rats and the new Deathwing and Super Colliders and everything. So are there now enough tools that you can actually build a Highlander Control Warrior? Then you can also use Zephyrs. Is that going to be stronger than going with duplicates in a control warrior deck? Because if you have tons and tons of control tools already, and then it doesn't really matter which one of those you use each turn, if you just have an abundance of them. So you never run out of those anyway, and then you can have Zephyrs on top. There's always been a hope for Hunter about building a control Hunter, which is something the class doesn't naturally do. And then we even had this dragon card from the past already, Emeris. 8/8 10-mana dragon battlecry, double the attack and health of all minions in your hand. Such a slow card, it just doesn't fit into what Hunter usually does. But the new Hunter dragon cards that have been revealed so far, we have Corrosive Breath, 2 mana, deal 3 damage to a minion. If you're holding a dragon, it also hits the enemy hero. That's a face-going card. Very cheap, a lot of damage, clears out the taunt from the way. Okay. And we have Primordial Explorer, 3 mana, 2/3 dragon, poisonous, battlecry discover dragon. This seems a bit weak, I guess, because if you put a poisonous minion on the board, it's just going to get killed. It doesn't rush or anything, so it can't immediately remove a taunt from the way. But are we seeing some tools that could be used to build some kind of a dragon face hunter? Hunter seems to be getting some stuff that might go face in this expansion. So face hunter, or again maybe some kind of Highlander build. That could be possible. With the last expansion of the year, Highlander is just something that's constantly on my mind. Paladin is perhaps the deck that has the most options when it comes to dragons. Paladin still has a bunch of old dragon and dragon synergy cards in standard format, like the good old Dragon Speaker, and it's now getting some new stuff like Sand Breath. 1 mana, give a minion +1/+2, give it Divine Shield if you're holding a dragon. So for its mana cost, that does a lot. And then Nostromo the Timeless, which is really interesting. 4 mana 8/8 dragon battlecry, set each player to 10 mana crystals. So those mana crystals will not be immediately available to you, they will be empty when you get them. Which means that it's your opponent who gets the first turn at 10 mana, but you have an 8/8 dragon on the board. So upsides and downsides. Typically these sorts of effects that give your opponent the chance to use the effect first are pretty bad, but maybe there's some way to make a deck around it that works. Overall, Paladin just has so many options. They might be able to go with very aggressive style, control style, mid-range style, and again, Highlander. There's just so many dragon cards available for Paladin. Paladin has the most dragon cards out of any class. Finally, there would be the Warlock, but we don't have any Warlock dragon cards yet. We don't have the Warlock Dragon, we don't have the Warlock Dragon Breath. No idea what's going to happen there. I really hope that they're going to give Control Warlock some support, because the Warlock Galagrond is a 2 card, so they're giving him more and more 2 support every expansion, and Control Warlock has not gotten anything for a long time. So hopefully the Warlock Dragon style is going to support that control approach, but we don't have those ones yet. Anyway, with Descent of Dragons, dragons are finally coming, and every class is going to have dragon decks. They'll be different from each other, and it's going to be really exciting to build them.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.